What do you think about these, boy? Hoka Mach X? I guess you're not too excited, but I'm pretty excited.
Good morning. First run out of the box in the Hoka Mach X. It's going to be a long one, maybe up to 20 miles. It's July, so summer grit is in full swing for those of you who believe in the run. So I'm going to try and get 300 miles in July. And yesterday was July 1st. I only had time for a short run before leaving from the beach. So I got to kind of catch up in order to get back on track. But I'm about a half mile in these shoes. Definitely not early enough to give you any kind of opinion. So I will update as I go along. So my first run in the Mach X was 20 miles, all at an easy pace. It was a hot day, but it felt like a pretty smooth shoe, great for a trainer, just kind of gentle, middle of the road, decent energy return. The fit was great, not quite as energetic as the Endorphin Speed 3. So I just did my second run in the Hoka Mach X. There they are there. And it was 13 miles, 13.1. It's the day after I did the Run White and Blue 7.4 miler, which was part of the 15-mile day. And today was mostly base pace, although I did jump in on about 3K worth of Derek's tempo workout that he had, which was in the low sixes. So I spent a good 10 minutes or so in the low sixes, and that was good. I got to try this shoe out at a little bit faster paces, and while it feels like a trainer on a base run, it certainly rolls really smoothly and doesn't feel as trainery when you get to tempo paces. It cruises really well, and that's when I really start feeling a little bit more of the energy return in the PIBA there, a little bit more of the snap off the forefoot. Not as much as something like the Endorphin Speed 3, Saucony, but it transitions really smooth. Another couple of runs and I'll kind of gather my thoughts together. I want to get some faster paces in it too. About to do my third run in the Hoka Mach X, and it's going to be about a 2-hour run, give or take, just because all of my runs are long this month. But I'm going to throw in some minuters, 3 sets of 5 by 1 minute. On varied surfaces, one set on the road, one set on the track, one set on a groomed cross-country surface, and just kind of see how the shoe does at more of a faster pace on different surfaces. And then I'll have over 50 miles in the shoe by then, so I'll probably get my thoughts together. So by the time I start the first set of milers, I will have about 9 or 10 miles on the day. And it being July in North Carolina, it's not an easy day to run. So all of this review will be in the context of tired legs.
Let me go first, so I'm going to catch up.
That's 4. That's the first set of 5. Headed over to the track now. On. Way done. Counting down now. Time. Second set done.
What's that?
Second set done. On over to cross country. And go. time. Start the last rep. CCMF, boys.
Yeah, boy.
On. Time. Woo! Oh. All right, I finished my 2-hour run with the 15 by 1 minuters on mixed surface. Man, it's a tough day. Mid 70s Fahrenheit degree with a 70-degree dew point, so that's almost 100% humidity. And there is no evaporative cooling going on. My shorts are saturated with sweat, and I never get that way. I don't sweat that much. But there's the shoes. They've gotten sufficiently dirty from the mixed surfaces. Gonna get my thoughts together for a shoe talk, but after about 48 miles, almost 50 miles, I have very positive things to share. Okay, shoe talk. Hoka Mach X. Full disclosure, I have not run in the Mach series in quite some time. I don't think I've owned a pair of the Mach since it's been called the Mach. I think the last time I owned a shoe of this lineage, it was the original Hoka Clayton, which I forget how long ago that was out. I think that came out during the Obama administration, actually. But I know there's plenty of people who are going to be comparing the Mach X to the Mach 5, and that's a worthy comparison, I think. However, I'm going to compare this shoe to a couple of other shoes that I think are in the same category, and I know I'm not alone in saying that. The Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 and the ASICS Superblast. These are shoes that incorporate a lot of things that the race day counterparts would have, as far as like super foam, like PIBA based foam, and they may or may not have a plating system, but usually more like a nylon or Pebax plate, or no plate at all in the case of the Superblast. So in isolation, just talking about this shoe by itself, I just finished that third run in it not long ago. That's why you can still tell the creasing there on the EVA. I think it's a great shoe. I think it's very stable, but still very punchy. There's still some energy in there. This top white layer of foam is the PIBA-based foam, which Hoka does not have its own proprietary name for it yet. And then this bottom seafoam greenish foam is the carrier foam. It's the EVA foam. Decent outsole coverage, which I know is different from the Mach series. They usually just use their firmer EVA as the outsole, and there's that Pebax plate in there that you can see. Didn't get anything stuck in there on the cross-country trails today, nor did I in this little cloven section here. And the upper is very conforming, but not constricting. They call it a jacquard mesh upper. It seems to fit my foot really well, and I don't have a particularly narrow foot, nor do I think it's very wide. I think I'm wider in the forefoot, but I think it works well for me, but would also work well for a narrower foot. Just a good lockdown, very simple out of the box, everything fit right. Felt great on the 20-miler that I did, all at easy pace. It really started to come alive when I was joining Derek for his tempo piece a couple days ago. And then when I was doing some VO2 max minuters this morning, there was some real pop off of it. So I think, using this for intervals, it went from just that trainery feel to really feeling like you could pop these during a workout. So for an all-rounder, which I think a lot of those workout day shoes are really turning into all-rounders, especially in this kind of division that I'm talking about. Now to compare it to the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3, this is a more energetic shoe. I said that during one of my runs. When I say that, I mean it's bouncier, and some might perceive that as softer, like a larger runner might say it's softer. You definitely, since this is fully PIBA here, this pelleted PIBA, the Power Run PB, instead of a mixture of PIBA and EVA, you definitely feel a lot more bounce. However, with that, it also feels a little bit less stable. So it's going to be the same degree of bounciness, softness, all the way through from heel to toe. I don't really heel strike, but it's definitely one density of bounciness. Whereas this It feels stable, not quite as soft at an easy pace, although it doesn't feel firm. It just feels, you know, regular. But then once you pick up the pace, you feel the bounce, you feel the pop. I think this feels more like the Superblast, which again has no plate, but is still very stiff and rigid because of that thick layer of flight foam turbo that I've talked about when I did the Superblast review. And this, I think, sits better at an easy or a steady, easy, almost a fast, easy pace, and will work with you when you pick up the pace. But once you get into the VO2 max paces, it's not the first choice I would choose. None of these, I mean, you'd want a racing flat, I guess, doing that. But I think when you were throwing in some of the faster intervals, the Hoka Mach X will pop a little bit more than the Superblast. The Superblast might be a little bit more comfortable for long miles and maybe getting up to marathon pace, but I think this will certainly handle that marathon pace through the tempo pace and add some intervals and also be good for long runs. Every run I've done in it has been, well, between 13 and 20 miles. So yeah, getting almost 50 miles on it in a very short amount of time. I did enjoy running in it. I would say it's a good middle ground between the Superblast and the Endorphin Speed 3 as far as experience. I see myself getting a lot of training miles in this with the 13 plus weeks left until Chicago Marathon, especially since, you know, the companion shoe to this, the Rocket X2, as well as the companion to the Superblast, which would be the Metaspeed Edge Plus for me, and the Endorphin Pro 3, which is the companion to the Speed 3. Those are still kind of my front runners for Chicago Marathon racing shoes. So I'll definitely be getting a lot of miles out of all three of these, but I see myself kind of reaching for this more than I would these other two. This one's almost done, it's almost retired. This one still has plenty of life. I do have another pair of these though, so I can still get in plenty of mileage. Said all that to say, this fits really nicely between the Superblast and the Endorphin Speed 3 as far as experience. And I think if you're looking for something that can handle long mileage, easy mileage, but that still feels really great to pop off some faster miles and intervals, the Mach X is worth it. It may not wow you right out of the box like a lot of people were expecting it to, but it will be worth the money in the long run, so to speak. So that's going to be the end of my shoe talk for me about the Hoka Mach X. Thanks for watching to the end. Don't forget your LSD, which is like, subscribe, or share, and ding the bell for notifications. Thanks, guys.